Hello and welcome to Taking Up Space with Jordan. I'm your host, Jordan. I started this podcast with the intent to inspire women everywhere to go after their dreams without the guilt and zero shame. I'm coming back after a 11-day vacation. I took some much needed time off and guess what? I didn't feel guilt or shame about it. I love podcasting, but there are times when the realities of my day job, my life, and my dreams can become a little overwhelming. I was struggling on where to go next with the podcast, coming up with content ideas, and that is usually for me a sign that it's time to take a break. And luckily that aligned with a birthday trip. But today, after all that time off, I am so ready to be back and so ready to get back into it. I feel refreshed, I feel energized, and I'm a 10 shades darker than when you last saw me. During vacation, though, I did spend some time brainstorming for the next phase of the podcast and where I want to go. I realized I spent a lot of my time about how to build that dream life, but I don't think I've ever really chatted about, how to discover that dream. Was really thinking about a conversation that I had with a friend a couple years ago where we were talking about kind of like our dreams, and I was telling her, like, I really want to have a podcast and blah, blah, blah. And she then started talking about her dreams. And then she almost cut herself off. And she said, it sounds silly. And then she said what her dream was. And in that moment, I didn't feel pity for her. What I felt was sorrow for the adult version of her and the inner child of her that at some point realized that their dreams didn't matter, or at least they thought they didn't. Because who at one point told her that her dreams were silly? She didn't come up with that. She was taught it. And we are all asked at some point when we are children, what do you want to be when you grow up? Some of us probably said a doctor, maybe a mermaid, a princess, a police officer, a piece of cheese, whatever came to our minds because we were children. We had the biggest imagination that we could ever have in that moment. And the adults, they probably laughed it off or said, you can be whatever you want when you get older. So what happened? What happened between the time you said, I want to be a princess or a piece of cheese to now? The answer is we grew up. As grown-ups, we lose a little bit of that magic to the hard reality of the consequences of our choices and of our actions. We have student debt, we have kids, we have responsibilities that we didn't have as small children where our only jobs were to dream. But here's the truth. It is still your job to dream. And today we are going to talk about how to discover that dream. Whether you are 18, 32, or 68, whatever age you are, it is never too late to start dreaming again. So let's go ahead and discover our dreams together. So for a moment, I want you to reflect on that memory from when you were a kid, when a teacher or your aunt or even your mom asked you, what do you want to be when you grow up? I want you to think about that answer. What did you say? I think when I was a kid, I wanted to be like a vet, or I think I called it an animal doctor. The other memory I had was I wanted to write books, aka be an author. I remember getting older, growing up, and realizing that I felt like I had to hide my dreams at some point. And it took me a while to realize that I didn't want to be made fun of. I didn't want someone to take away that little slim hope that maybe one day I could be an animal doctor or a book writer. And I'm sure you all have that memory of someone saying your dreams were silly, or that's not realistic, or it was dumb to think that you could do that. But today we're not going to focus on why you hid your dreams away. Today we are going to focus on how you are going to reclaim them. I have 7 ways that you are going to do just that. I'm going to break down each way, but if you want to jump around in the video to the ones that sound more interesting for you, then the timestamps for each are going to be down in the comments as well as on the screen here if you're watching the video version of this. So let's dive into it. Our first method is probably going to be the most difficult for a lot of people. There's a lot of noise in the world. There are podcasts like mine and others telling you how to do things this way or that way. There is social media. There is the goddamn news telling you how to be. In order to get to a place where you can even hear your thoughts and your dreams, you have to learn how to mute it all. You have to quiet the noise. Noise is defined by anything that is not your own voice or thoughts. The only way to do this is to put the phone away and turn the TV off and schedule time to be alone. For myself, I sometimes call these mommy walks. When I tell my dogs that I'm going to go on a mommy walk, they know that that means that they are not coming with me. Now I do have to take my phone because of safety reasons, but during these walks, it stays in my pocket. I turn on D&D and I go on a walk by myself for an hour. It's not about the mileage, it's just about these 60 minutes of silence. 60 minutes to think only my thoughts, not to listen to music, not to listen to a podcast or phone a friend. And I'll be honest, these are sometimes awkward as hell because what weirdo goes on a walk without their headphones in? Well, me. And you should be that weirdo too. When you start cutting the noise out and create dedicated time to sit or walk in silence, you discover your own voice. You learn to communicate with yourself, tease out ideas, be inspired by the world around you. When I was on a walk the other day, I was honestly kind of stunned by just the sheer fact of time. And I know this sounds super woo-woo. I had been gone for only 10 days, but coming back, it was like a whole new world in my neighborhood. Everyone was dressed in their sweaters and long sleeves. The leaves had changed to reds and golds, and I was inspired by the idea that time is so fleeting and we can't sit and wait for our lives to change. We have to be the ones to make those changes. And I thought about this episode. I thought about where I want to be in a year from now. And then I watched a squirrel poop, something I'd absolutely never seen before. Silence is frightening because when we are no longer distracted by the voices around us, we discover that we may not know ourselves. We discover fears, we discover insecurities, but we also discover how to work through them and move past those things to uncover the dreams and hopes that are underneath all of it. So if you're interested in this method, I want you to go ahead and try scheduling some time. Maybe you do this once a week, like myself, and you don't have to go on a walk. Maybe you journal in silence for 20 minutes or just sit. The idea, though, is that you set a time and you have no distractions, no pets, no kids, no partner, no social media, or even music. We have to learn to be our own inspirations, and that comes with listening to the voice that's inside us, not someone else. Our next method is a fun one. I want you to track what fills up your cup, what energizes you, and I want you to track what drains you. Maybe you're energized by a 6 a.m. Pilates class, but you were drained by the 5 p.m. one. Maybe you find yourself energized from painting or taking a pottery class. Maybe you've noticed that your evening routine is not preparing you for the rest the way it used to, and you're feeling uncomfortable and drained by it. Whatever it is, track it. Tracking what energizes you allows you to gain more clarity on what you are actually inspired by and what you have fun by. When you notice that you are feeling drained from reading the same self-care books over and over again, but you find yourself buzzed and energized by the smutty little dragon romance, what is the harm in that? We tell ourselves that we have to always be doing something because it is productive. But if the productive thing is draining you, that does not make it productive. For this method, I would suggest writing everything down at the end of the day that energized you. Do this for 2 to 3 weeks and then review it at the end. When I did this, I noticed a lot of things that I found really surprising. One of them was working out in the morning drained me. I had no energy by the middle of the afternoon. And while all the TikTok girlies kept saying that I would eventually adjust, I never did. And when I missed my workouts in the morning, I felt terrible about myself and I had low self-esteem and I would just beat myself up mentally. What I did notice is that when I switched to an afternoon workout, I felt a lot better. I was stronger in the afternoons. I was better rested, and I even found myself able to keep working my corporate job after go straight into podcasting feeling just a little bit lighter because I had given myself that natural boost of serotonin and endorphins by going on a walk, by going and doing strength training. Another surprising thing that I noticed was that I was drained down to the bone by very specific people in my life. I would leave for meetups with those people and feel like I had run a mental marathon trying to keep up with their mental gymnastics. And it had become so innate to me to do this that I didn't realize that I was leaving those outings feeling like a shell of myself. Tracking what energizes and drains you is going to reveal some insightful things about yourself. And I think we get wrapped up in what we should give us energy or what should make us more productive. But again, if it doesn't give you joy, care, or love, peace, or ease, then it's time for an adjustment. But guess what? You get to make that decision. Our third method is separating the ego from truth. Our egos can be our greatest adversaries. Our third method is learning to separate the ego from truth. Egos can be our greatest adversaries. Have you ever caught yourself doing something not because you wanted to, but because you thought it would impress others? You got that new purse not because you liked it, but because it's the new trendy thing. You changed your hair color, took a different job at a big name firm, not because it will boost your career, but because it just would look good and make people go, oh, you work there? Maybe you dated someone because they looked good, but they didn't actually give you anything that actually fulfilled you. We all do this. We are all victims of letting our egos get in the way of things. But when you are trying to discover what your dreams are, I ask you, are you following the path of being a doctor because it sounds impressive? Or are you doing it because it is your dream? Are you becoming a parent because that's just what you're supposed to do? Or you actually want to be a parent? To be clear, both of these are real dreams and valid dreams. But what I want you to question is, are you doing it for yourself or because it's what will impress other people in your life? We are psychologically innately wanting to be liked and to be loved. We learn from a young age that when we do something that our parents want us to do, we are rewarded. That field of impression expands as we get older. Soon we wear specific clothes so that we can be popular in school. We date certain people because it heightens our status. We go to distinct schools so we can get that, oh, she's going there, wow factor. We might even marry the wrong guy because they made us look more impressive. But here's where checking your ego can become your superpower. When you do what you want for you, you become the most impressive person in the room. It is inspiring to toot your own horn, to play the music that you want, to sing, to dance, to be yourself because you want to. When you let go of the weight of other people's observations, you realize that their voices were crowding out your own dreams. And you will disappoint people, but that's okay. That's good. Disappointing others has nothing to do with you being lacking. It has everything to do with you holding up that mirror to them and they see their own reflection, and what they see is their own disappointments reflected within themselves. So how do you do this method? Simple. Ask yourself every single time you're doing something, am I doing this for me or am I doing this to impress others? And to be clear, both can be true, but it has to be you first. I think we're on our fourth prompt, but let's be honest, you didn't really think that this episode was not going to include journaling prompts. It's me. I recently talked in my YouTube exclusive episode that got released on Wednesday. Wednesday's episode was all about how to journal to discover your dreams. So if you are wanting to get into journaling, I would go and check that one out. I'll link it down below. But journaling is a great way to get connected with your dreams. I've said this in probably 99% of my episodes. And the reason that I believe so strongly in journaling is because when I am with my journal, it is all about me, my hopes, my wishes that I finally giving space and giving a home for. My insecurities, my growth, my mistakes, my goals, all of it lives in the pages of my journals. And that's where I also discovered my own dreams that I haven't even shared on this podcast, but I did that with these prompts that I've talked about in every single one of these journals. So here are a few of the prompts that kickstarted a lot of my goals and how I started on the path of my own dreams. The first one, if I could title my life as a series or book, what would I call it and why? If failure wasn't an option, what would I try? What moments make me feel the most like myself? And if I had all the free time in the world, what hobby would I pursue? And finally, what version of me am I becoming when I'm happiest? Each of these prompts is meant to challenge a specific area of your life. The first question of naming my life as a book, I think I came up with, she had a plan until her brain said plot twist. And I realized that I needed to really understand not only my mental health from this prompt, but also how my brain is wired. This has led to a lot of changes in my life, especially in my routines, how I operate this podcast, how I structure my corporate to-do list and working style. I have found that I am someone that works better in 20 to 25 minute stints with 5 minutes of chores than 5 minutes of silly time. I know that if I don't write it down or put it in my calendar, I will forget, which is why I'm religious about staying at work and in social occasions. Give me a second. I need to write this down. You see, journaling is not just a place for you to dump all your feelings on the page, which it can be used for that, but it's also an opportunity for you to work out how you want to live your life, what your dreams are, and why they are so important to you. When we give our dreams words, when we put them down on paper, we are making them real. They are no longer just sitting on our heads. They have been written out, spoken into the universe. That is just one step towards reclaiming that dream. So if you want to try this method out, I would just recommend setting aside 15 or even 20 minutes and pick one of those prompts. Write your answer out. It doesn't need to be perfect sentences. It doesn't even need to be grammatically correct. It doesn't need to be the perfect journal. It doesn't need to have the perfect aesthetic for you to do or the perfect pen. I just want you to choose one prompt and write. See what you uncover when it comes to your dreams. So we've done a lot of thinking and journaling in these past few methods, but now we have to get out of our heads and we got to start doing things. This method is about going out and trying new things without the pressure of trying to do it right or even perfectly. The goal of this method is just to try. We can get caught in our heads about planning and thinking about taking the next step, but then we are so exhausted from the thinking that we can't take the next step. So for this one, I want you to just go and try something new. Walk a different route. Go and eat at a different restaurant. Sign up for a free class at a fitness gym. Do something new. I know you have that metaphorical list in your brain of when I have time, I'll do this or I'll try that. Well, go and do it. This is your chance to finally do the thing that you always said you were going to try. Because we can't discover our dreams in these perfect bubbles. Unfortunately, I would love to just live in my beautiful little bubble that's pink and cozy and all the good things that I love. But we have to go out in the world and create new experiences for ourselves. There was a reason that you were drawn to that specific thing. And even if it's, let's just say, painting pottery isn't your thing or whatever, that is still one step closer to figuring out what you don't want. And that's still a win. I've done this by signing up for a pickleball league. It was always something that looked fun. Turns out I love it. And it makes me happy to have something to do, especially during the colder months that gets me moving around. Also get to connect with people that I normally wouldn't have. So get out there, try something, pick one thing, even if it's just for the rest of this month. You only do one new thing. That's still a win. We're getting close to the end of our methods, so I just want to take a moment to remind you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. It is the number one way to keep supporting the work that I do, and I always appreciate a little subscription. Thank you. Okay, our second to last method, I think is probably, to be so bold, I would say it's probably the most radical because it requires some real effort and thought process around it. It requires a dream detox. And it is very similar to, let's say, a body detox, where someone says they're not going to have any sugar, alcohol, and no high processed foods like fast food. A dream detox is no social media, no podcasts, no advice from friends or family, and no books for 30 days. This method is a more radical one than just quieting the noise. But the idea is basically the same, except instead of doing it for 20, 30, or even 60 minutes, you're doing it for 30 days. What I love about this method is that you don't realize how quick you are to Google something or how quick you are to phone a friend when you need advice. This method challenges you to listen to your intuition, to listen to your gut, and learn to trust yourself more and stop asking ChatGPT why you feel something. This can be very challenging for people, especially if you are reliant on others. But that's what I love about it. This challenge forces you to stop, take a moment, and listen to yourself first. So if you're interested in taking this method and challenge on, I would encourage you to make sure you are ready for that journey. Uninstall your social media apps like Facebook, Twitter, or whatever the hell it's called these days, TikTok and Instagram and any others. I would let your friends and family know that you are trying this new method out. Explain it to them so that they can be your support system, and then start. I personally have done this, and what I discovered is that I realized I relied a lot on specific people for advice. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. There are some people a part of my circle that I trust their advice because I know that they know what my goals are and they are going to give me advice that not only aligns with the goals, but we have a safe space for them to push back without me retaliating or them being mean or malicious. So try it out and DM the results of what you discover. Our final method is facing your fears. I call it the nothing to lose method because going after your dreams, it takes guts. It takes perseverance, and it takes a leap of faith, or maybe even 12 leaps of faith. And that can be terrifying, and it stops you from trying. The secret about a lot of our fears is that they are not our fears. They are our parents' fears, our brothers, our friends. Fear comes from insecurities, painful memories, and it is our body's way of trying to protect us. The reality is, going after your dreams is not like facing a bear. Your dreams are not going to cause you harm. So we have to learn to face them. We do that by naming them. So for this method, you're going to write down everything you're afraid of, no matter how silly it might sound to you when it comes to going after your dreams. No matter where it came from, judgment-free, write it down. Then I want you to ask for each one of those fears. What is the worst thing that could happen? I did this exercise when I first started this podcast. I was afraid that I was going to be made fun of. I was afraid that people were going to think I was cringe. I was afraid that no one would like it. Then I asked myself, what is the worst thing that could happen if someone makes fun of me? My feelings are hurt. I lose a friend. That would suck, but then you reframe it. When I think of the people who are in my life, the ones that actually matter, they wouldn't make fun of me. They would support me. They would support my dreams. Just like I wouldn't make fun of them for going after their own dreams. When we name our fears, they lose their power over us. They just become words on a piece of paper that we can then reframe and also learn that there are parts of us that have been hurt, that have learned to hide themselves away for fear of being unloved or unlikable. But going after your dreams is not a reason to be unloved. Going after your dreams is an inspiration. Going after your dreams is beautiful. So you see, there are a number of ways to start figuring out what your dreams are. There are more than what I've talked about today, but these are all methods that I have tried and believed in full-heartedly. I may be at the messy middle of discovering my dreams, but through each messy moment, I have only gained more clarity. Going after your dreams is terrifying, especially if you're not really sure which one you want to go after. But you have to try, even when it feels overwhelming, even when it feels impossible, especially when it feels impossible. So take a moment, pick a method, and give it a chance. I want to know which one you try out, so send me a DM on TikTok or Instagram and let me know which one you chose. We can all go after our dreams because there is enough space in the universe for all of us. So give it a shot. And thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to listen. I know there's a lot going on in the world and you could have listened to any other podcast, so it's always a pleasure and a treat to chat with you. If you liked this episode, please send it over to a friend that may need some guidance on how to unlock their dreams. Wherever you are in the world, go after your dreams. I promise it's not as scary as you may think it is. Kisses!